What are your favorite cities to hit, Dave?
Well, San Francisco is great. I'd say D.C. is probably my best town.
Love D.C.
I mean, like, those crowds are great.
Great crowd. They need a laugh out there. It's kind of a stuffy town.
It's a stuffy town, but the people that come see me are coming out of Virginia. You know, they're coming they're the people who like live around the government and they kind of don't want to hear about it. Some of them work in the government, you know, that kind of thing.
Do you think they're stuffy because they're like, oh God, we don't want to hear about politics, or like they're on guard?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of HR, a lot of government jobs. You know, they just want to they got to stay in line. So when you come in there talking about, you know, jizzing in a guy's mouth, like, I need this.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
They are smart, and they also they're like the best of like the South, like where it's like, you know, they're smart, but they also are Southern, so they like it like a little greasy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And same thing like I would say Charlotte and those towns.
Love Charlotte.
Really popping now also, you know. Yeah. I was in Atlanta. I played a theater down there. I haven't done like Atlanta in a long time, and I'll tell you, like, I miss it. That was a great town for comedy, man. With the punchline there, it's really sad what happened.
There was a picture of you at the old Laughing Skull. You, Lewis Black, when
and
you guys
Mitch, right?
And Mitch, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
That's a crazy.
That's
story.
a long time ago now. That's like probably over 10 years, 15 years. I mean, he's been dead for a long time, and I know that there's talk of doing something about Mitch now. I think it's way overdue. I always see a lot of influence in people by Mitch.
Oh,
so
yeah.
People always say, "Oh, people sound like you." I go, "No, Mitch is really the guy." Like, I think he really did influence a lot of people. You know,
Definitely.
You know, that style, his cadence.
Yeah.
You know, joke writing wise, I'd say that he does his own thing. Like, people don't do it so esoteric like him, you know. But other people are like, what is this? What is he doing? I'm like, it's like, you know, now like pop culture is so big and all that kind of stuff. But it's like beyond that, you know. It's like Zen joke writing, I think.
Yes,
you know?
yeah. Shang Wang has a little of that.
Shang is great too. That was one of the specials that I really enjoyed watching. I mean, like, the guy is a pleasure to watch. He's so funny.
He's great. We did the Burt Kreischer cruise, and Shang Wang was on it. So I was like, let me go watch how these drunk white trash people enjoy this smart Asian man. And he killed.
Oh, that's
really
killer.
He's road tested.
Oh yeah. But it's just funny seeing him with the long hair and the glasses. He looks like he's there to like give you a foot massage, and he's just killing with these fucking yokels.
Mitch was opening those shows, though, right? With you and
he was, but that was only because he was the last add-on. But that was another one where like we, you know, rotated a bit. But I think it was 3 different crowds coming together, which never really works, by the way. You know, people want to see their person, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'm the drunk insomniac guy, and then Lewis was his thing, and then Mitch had his people. So I think it was an add-on, but he was like kind of up and down in terms of like, you know, where he was with his problems and everything. So, you know, but I felt, especially when we did Minneapolis, he should have closed that show. Like, that's his hometown, his people coming to see him.
Yep.
You know, that he should have done it. And then there was like, for some reason he didn't, and I think that upset him, and, you know, whatever. But he was a rock and roll comic. You know, like, people forget that about him. Like, he really was a rock and roll comic. So and Geraldo to some extent too.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
Who is probably, when you think of like writing and like all that kind of stuff, like, you know, his stuff holds up. You know? It really does. I can't say the same about mine, but his stuff really does. He really you know, his stuff is tough jokes. You know,
smart jokes. Just to be on that many drugs and still pumping out such great material.
Yeah, he was. He really brought it, you know. And he's another guy who, like, I think if he was around in these times, like Patrice and everything like that, playing big theaters and all that kind of stuff, it would be amazing to see them in these other type venues instead of just clubs, you know.
Do you feel like you still get the Insomniac Psycho booze bags coming out to see you, or is that kind of faded?
No, they're grown up now, but it's mostly the people that were like in high school who would watch that thing at home who are now older that come out. But I think that, you know, they've all been kind of like, you know, like we're all beaten up and old now that they get it. Like, you know, this is, you know, the one thing that used to like help me with a lot of these clubs, they'd be like, all right, you didn't sell out, but our booze sales is like beyond imagination. Like, I'm buying a car to you, you know, like that kind of thing. So they still drink pretty, you know, good. But But I'm sure you probably top me now in terms of like people going out and drinking.
We get the real hardcore alcoholics, sometimes to a fault, where you're like, all right, guys, you got to let me get this fucking zinger out.
It makes it harder on you, but I guess that is part of the experience, right?
Do you guys feel like, do people offer, they all probably want to do like a shot or
all day long.
Yeah.
I hate the shot offer because you want to be nice, but I would be on the floor if I took every one of them.
Yep. And I used to go shot for shot with these people, but it's smart to like not get into that battle, you know. But do you do one like at the end or something?
Oh
like,
yeah,
what do you do?
oh yeah. I mean, more than one.
Well, there you go. So
When
that's
you
good.
did that special with Geraldo and Dane Cook and Sean Rouse.
That was Comedy Central's, like, I said, I remember them yelling at me about that one because I thought Dane at that point was the biggest touring act in America. And like,
Sure.
I don't know why he did it, but like for the rest of us, they kind of like threw us in there. And I got Sean Rouse in it because I was like, well, if there's going to be another guy, I want one of my guys to do it, and Sean needed a pop, he was like going through, horrible rheumatoid arthritis and all that kind of stuff. But I would say that, if you look at that, like you could break that up into 4 pieces and like, that's probably a better ride than all of it together, because we're so different. And it was really Dane's the one guy who kind of like had to like lower the bar for it because it was his audience. I mean, he could have done his own thing, The rest of us, I think we were, just part of a deal.
Sure.
But that was when Comedy Central was at its most powerful.
Yes. Yeah. They would do a lot of packaging. They would like to put comics together for some reason.
Yeah, well, they
got everything wrong except for the digital. No, that's the thing.
The digital's horrific.
Yeah.
Well, you think they just saw the blue collar guys and they're like, we'll do our own.
Well, they were always trying to recreate that. And then I think the Kings of Comedy actually seems even more organic and right than whatever, any of us could come up with.